Just got the cylinder head back from the machine shop. We are about ready to reinstall the cylinder head and head gasket and all that on this Mazda 3. So if you missed the teardown, watch that first, I guess. But so, got the cylinder head back. It was resurfaced, it was checked, it held pressure, the valves are good. The machinist did notice that there's some marks on here, which we saw, and it looks like something was in this cylinder one. And so it was able to be resurfaced, but you know, it's not pretty and not something you'd run on like a race car, but for a street car, should be fine. We'll see. I don't like it, but it is what it is. We can see the cylinder one here. Something was in here. It's not like pieces of the piston. Well, I guess it would be, but so whatever was in here just chipped away at the piston a little bit, but it is what it is. So let's just throw this on there. We'll take our new head gasket here, just like that. It is multi-layer steel, 2 pieces, very loose together, so okay, and it should just find its dowels. Just like that. Now for torquing down the head. I already went ahead and put the new head bolts in. What I like to do is tighten them down finger tight and then pull them out, wipe them off, get off any oil, anything in the threads, clean them up, make sure the threads are nice and good, put them back in. So that's where we're at now. And now in a crisscross pattern, I'm going to go to 13 foot-pounds for all of them. And that will be the first step of torque. There's one. This is just to make sure everything is nice and snug first. There we go. And we'll just go around crisscross pattern till we complete this step. Second step, we're going to go to 33 foot-pounds. I don't like that popping, but there we go. And final step is to torque it to 85 to 92 degrees. So we got it, the angle set, got it to set to beep at 88. Here we go, and the first one. There we go, there's one. Now this is definitely a while you're in here kind of job. Replace the PC valve because you'll have to take off the intake manifold, and since you have it off, now's the chance. So there's this clip here that you need to remove without breaking. Otherwise you're looking at replacing this whole assembly. So this was like that with the slots, and then you just take a screwdriver, stick it in between and just pop it up over the tabs. Real gentle because it's brittle plastic. But so this comes out, and now I should be able to take this on out and replace it with our new PCV. Installing the intake camshaft. So we'll just set it down. I put a little bit of lube down, and then we're gonna want the cams pointing that way based off of the timing mark in the back. But that's where we're gonna put it. Let's put the exhaust one down. Putting the exhaust cam on. I just did the intake cam, so I'm just cleaning it out with a little brake clean. Putting a little bit of lube down. These cam caps are numbered, and you got to put them in the correct spot, otherwise you're gonna have some trouble. Alright, I think I said the exhaust. This is the intake cam. We'll just put it down loosely. I'll do the rest of them, and then we can start the timing process. Got the timing plate locked into place, so the cams are locked into top dead center, cylinder 1. I have the engine timed, ready to start tightening things down. So we put on the VVT actuator, we put on the exhaust sprocket, all the chain guides. This is a fresh new chain because the old actuator failed, so it stretched the chain. New tensioner, of course. And everything is lined up down here. I believe these guides down here are only for the speed 3s, because mine doesn't come with one. So let's pull the pin. This is nice and tight right now. We'll pull the pin. There we go. Nice tight tension. Chain looks good. Now before I move forward, I had one heck of a time finding the right timing parts for this car. I bought a kit, came with a new chain guide like this. Well, it turns out the guide that comes with my car was a lot thicker than this. So this is not the right part. I could not find the right timing chain for it. This is a 2007, but it's a late 2007, built after September. So what I ended up finding is a timing chain right here off the parts store. There's your part number. What I had to do is go to the Mazda dealership website, type in the VIN, search for a timing chain, and it pulled up only one option. So if you're struggling to find parts, just go to the OEM website, find out what the part number is, and then search for that part number everywhere else. Now we're going to tighten the cam sprockets. Big wrench, torque wrench up to 55 foot-pounds. Okay, let me do the exhaust side. There we go. Okay. Now the tricky part, just put my RTV on the timing chain, and we have to slide it in here without touching that RTV where it's not supposed to. Alright, we're in. Top and bottom. Yet another difference I'm finding with this car. This pulley is not the typical pulley you see on the videos for timing these Mazda 3s. So I found a little white mark in here, and the way we're going to refer to it as 5th tooth from this gap right here, because you know the hole right here for the timing bolt is about where you want to be. So 5th tooth from that gap right there at the bottom, with the hole up towards the bottom. And let's put this in. So the crank pulley on, took out one of the timing cover bolts to just stick it in, line it up, and then we can take the CPS sensor right here, make sure that it points perfectly, and it does. So we are good. We are ready to start tightening. So I'm going to leave the bolt in for the initial torque. We're going to go to 72 foot-pounds, and I'm going to hold on to the pulley the best as I can. There we go. Okay, so we hit that initial 72 foot-pounds. Now we are going to go an additional 90 degrees. I put the timing cover bolt back. Everything is back. I could use a angle torque wrench, but I've seen this method online recently and I want to try it. So I marked an arrow to the right here. We need to go 90 degrees, so when that arrow is facing down, that means we're done. So we're going to use my big 1/2 inch, give it a quick couple shots, see how it goes. almost. Just jumping around here. Got the passenger axle mount in, crank position sensor bolted down, serpentine belt on, working on putting the AC compressor and its stretch belt back on. The AC belt goes in the front, in case you can't remember. So yeah, let's put it on. The easiest way I found is have the belt on the compressor with the compressor unbolted, put it onto the pulley, the crank pulley, and then you'll push up from the back side to line it up and get the bolts in. Don't forget to remove that little timing peg thing to stop the crank from moving. So that's all out. We got our cam alignment gear out, and we are ready to put the valve cover on. As you see, I've started doing all the little stuff, so let's just throw this on. I think we are ready to start. I'm just doing one final look over. Spark plugs, coils, wiring, fuel injectors. Seems like we're all connected. I connected the radiator hoses already. I think we just gotta throw a battery in here and see if it starts. I won't put any coolant in it yet, just want to see if it fires off. Alright, let's see if we can do a first start. So what I'm going to do is crank it with my foot on the gas all the way down to do a clear flood, just let the engine spin because it hasn't spun in a while. And then we'll crank it for real. It is running. Gave it an oil change. We're running. We are fully up at temperature. It's revving good. I have heat. The temperature gauge is not rising. My idle is nice and steady right now. I did have some coolant spill out earlier, but as you can see, nothing's out right now, so I'm not sure what that was. I did pressurize the system to check for leaks. You can see the mess. Not sure what that was, but it's not doing it anymore. So yeah, I think we're looking good. I'm gonna shut it off here. The RTV still hasn't fully cured, so I don't want to just destroy all the RTV that I put on there.